Hi there. Welcome to the Bonham's Snare sample. There's a fella, God love him. There's a fella, God love him, who sent me these samples. And he's the Pope. God bless America. So, his name is Chris, and he is the man, and he... I told him I'd mention his band. Check out, you have to do this though, because this is a good thing. His band's name is Spinning Lucy. Spinning and then Lucy. So if you can, just check out his thing. Super nice guy, he sends me stuff. He's out of Philadelphia. But check these out. So he went through and found in I think 10 or 11 songs here, where there were spots in the songs where it was just the snare by itself. So he's got Custard Pie, Jermaker, or Dire Maker, Fool in the Rain, Heartbreaker, Moby Dick, Rock and Roll, Since I've Been Loving You, the song remains the same, The Girl I Love has got long brown wavy frickin' hair, and the Wanton Song, and finally When the Levee Breaks. So, you'll notice here, remember, sometimes Jimmy Page used to speed up and slow down recordings a little bit. Whether or not it was the final mix or they just sped up and slowed down the drums, or obviously in some of them where it sounds like a really strange tuning. Obviously he did like Dad Gag and all these other kinds of tunings. But I think just to fatten up the sound of stuff, if you slow it down on tape, you'll get, instead of more like a, you'll get like a, right? So, let's start with Custard Pie. Here we go. This is Custard Pie isolated snare. Now, it has a little bit of a gated sound because where he pull the sample, you can hear where it goes like... It's not like that on the recording. It doesn't have that Phil Collins, Hugh Padgham, Peter Gabriel intruder gate, but it gives it that effect because of the nature of him pulling the sample. So again, Custard Pie. Ba, ba, ba. Now we go to Jermaker. I love in Jermaker. I've realized when I've listened very closely to Jermaker, there's a delay on the snare a little bit that's kind of faint. So the snare kind of goes like, just a little bit. A teeny bit, listen closely. And that really comes in handy when Bonham sort of ghosts the snare a little bit. You don't have to go to that big fat crash. It's the combination of him giving a teeny bit of like a buzz or a couple little graces with his left hand on the snare, but combined with the delayed sort of that's going on from the smack on the snare right before it. Remember, these are my opinions, but I know I'm right. So here we go to Jermaker, as I was just about to do. Roll it! Again, thanks, Chris, for these. It gives it, in these samples, it kind of gives it a gated sound. Meaning with the gate, what happens is there's a sound, and then you can control when the sound is cut off. Sometimes there's a hard gate, literally, where it's like, and then other ones where it's soft, kind of like, right? So it gives it the effect with these. Back to Jermaker. And from where I'm sitting, at the very end of that sample, you can kind of hear where the delay's starting a little bit. So like you have like, imagine my fist this big, like Mark Hamill's in that movie with Silent Bob Strikes Back, and then a little fist, so like, da, da, like that. You can kind of hear it. Well, you can't because it kind of cuts off. But trust me, it's there. That is so cool. Moving on. We have now Fool in the Rain. Again, and I'll stop mentioning it. I just want everyone to remember at the tail end of that smack on these snare smacks, there's a gated effect, okay? So it's not like that actually on the record. Again, so Fool in the Rain. I love the sound of the drums on In Through the Outdoor. A lot of people don't. You know, each record sort of has, like Physical Graffiti, by and large, the songs on there, because remember, not all the songs on Physical Graffiti were recorded at Headley Grange. Remember, they would just record a bunch of songs. Like, we know Houses of the Holy, the song is on Physical Graffiti. It was going to be on Houses of the Holy, but they held it over, right? But just different eras of snare sound. Like somebody had pointed out, they sent me yesterday a sound from, I think it's Zeppelin playing a show, and I can't remember. It sounds so silly. You know, I'm 48 now. I'm going to be 49. My brain doesn't work as well, but it's from a live show, 1969, and the sound of the drums and the snare sounds so much like the studio recording of Moby Dick. Like the snare is tuned and sounds the exact same way. And remember, Moby Dick was recorded on the road, I think at Mystic Studios. And I always was under the impression that Bonham went in and he did just sit and solo for like 20 minutes, and Jimmy Page and Bonham cobbled it together. And remember, that intro and outro is also recorded at one time. So they're like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, da 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 da, the whole progression. Then you hear the guy, hang on, I gotta do this. And then you hear, hang on.
Drum insert, take 1.
And then it goes like that. But somebody had also mentioned that there might have been a few minutes of solos recorded at different studios that were then cobbled together in Moby Dick. So listen to Moby Dick, the studio version. See if you hear different points where it sounds like it might be from a different day at a different studio where they set up and he played. Okay, that's possible. I left off on Fool in the Rain. I will now go to Heartbreaker. Roll it. Again, the gated effect. I have to mention it every time because I can't help but think of Intruder and numerous Phil Collins recordings. So, a little more Heartbreaker. And I'm letting him go for a while so you can go back in the video here and just listen again, okay? And you can hear that, again, when I said about speeding up and slowing down the recordings, it might affect the pitch of the snare as we hear it, okay? You can hear kind of different tunings here. Okay, do you hear how high Fool in the Rain was? Like, right? Now we're going on to Moby Dick Studio. That's pretty cool. Dude, thank you for sending these. You know, people can send me stuff. But I'm the ultimate judge to decide whether I'm going to show it or talk about it, okay? So I just have to, because people do send me stuff all the time. I can't do everything. But I knew this would be interesting. Now we're on to Rock and Roll, studio version. I would imagine he grabbed that off the, you know, at the very end where you have the da 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 do da do da 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 do da do da. Well, that da 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 da, that first da da, I'm pretty sure that's where he probably grabbed that single snare sound from. Alrighty, moving on. Since I've Been Loving You. Again, a similar tuning and sort of tessitura. What's that word that they sometimes you'd read in like the modern drummer articles? Like a tone, you know what I mean? Like tessitura. I know I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Like when I said the reading festival, I just joined a band with some dudes like 25 years ago. And I said, well, when Zeppelin played at the reading festival, they were like, Terry, you know what I mean? All right. And we got into a row. Bop, bop, bop. All right, so here we go. Okay, the song remains the same. Studio. Again, that one, some of these are probably really hard to grab. You know what I mean? Because especially the song remains the same. You know, there's not, I think, a whole lot of points where you just kind of hear the snare. Moving on to The Girl I Love, Wavy Hair, Led Zeppelindom. Here we go. That's very close to in my head when I hear the archetypical snare drum, Bonham's snare drum sound. And that's up near the tuning sort of a Fool in the Rain. Moving on, we have the Wanton Song, or as some people I play with sometimes announce it as the Wanton Song. One of these days, I almost feel like if I'm ever playing with somebody and they call it the Wanton Song, I'd like somebody to come out with the place of fried crispy wontons. Sorry. All right, so here we go. Wanton Song. Probably in the first couple, it's like da na 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 na. Right? You just swiped it from there. Now we go on to When the Levee Breaks. There's a little bit of the... Remember, people often, no matter how many times I or other people when we talk about this, you say there was a Binson echo rec used, which is an outboard device to get a delay, like an echo, Binson echo rec. They're like, no, all that reverb and echo is from the stairway at Headley Grange. Wrong! There is some reverb and spaciness at the Headley Grange staircase, but they used a Binson echo rec. Look it up on the YouTube, not the YouTube. Well, I guess somebody might have. I bet there's a video where somebody's like, hey, here's an original echo rec, and they run stuff through it. You can check that out. But Google, right? The Binson echo rec. Andy Johns was the engineer when they did that. Wait, I better play it. We're going to sit here just in honor of that ass-kicking sound, which, by the way, I'm 100% sure when they did Misty Mountain Hop, they must have recorded it. They either reset the drums up there to record it, or likely they tracked it the same day or within the days the drums were out there. Listen to the tone of the drums. Anyway, since this is the last sample, too, let's just celebrate this When the Levee Breaks beefcake sound. That just rules, man. Doesn't that just frickin' R-U-O-O-L-E? So I just wanted to make this video real fast. The past couple of videos I've made sitting like this without not my drum setup, because sometimes here in on Earth, sometimes the water table comes up. So I get, I pumps and stuff down here and dehumidifier, but sometimes we just get little puddles on the floor where, hydrostatic pressure can be pretty powerful. Sometimes if it comes up fast enough, you'll almost see like little fountains in the floor. Like, it's crazy town, but at least it's clean water. Don't have sewer backup. It's clean water. Like literally, I could probably lick the floor and get hydrated. So more videos on the way, including, remember, a lot more on bonzology. Think bonzo and then logi. L-O-G-Y. So Bonzo, B-O-N-Z-O, and then L-O-G-Y. We have about 1,100 subscribers on there. We'd like to build it up. George is going berserker making the videos. He is using, which a lot of folks do. In fact, somebody left a comment yesterday about this. They go in and they'll play a cover, right? But they'll only have the recording going through their headphones. And then what they do is then they over the studio recording or whatever they're playing to. Then they'll overdub or they'll add on what they played to in iMovie or something. I'm going to do that because, you know, when I make my covers, what I do is I have the music pumping into my board. So it's blasting through my headphones. Isn't just what I'm playing along to, but the sound of the drums that the mic is picking up. And it's been killing my ears, okay? So, again, remember Bonzology. Got to check that out with George. You know, as we know, George is a machine. He is well lubricated. So, like I've said, more videos on the way. What else was I going to talk about, though? Something else. There really was something else. Oh, there was the write-up in Tight But Loose, the Led Zeppelin magazine or online magazine. Tight But Loose. George and I got a nice write-up in there. God, what else was it? I'm still waiting on my 16-inch Amber Vista Light floor tom. And I don't know. But again, more videos on the way as always. I'm sorry it's been sort of a boring lull. But trust me, we're getting back into the swing of things here. So I hope everything's well with all you folks watching, all our lovely subscribers. I got to tell you, man, I get the nicest comments all the time. Keeps me going making the videos, really. So, God, what the hell was it, though? There's another thing, for the love of God. Mother of piss bucket. Oh, did you notice in some of the Bonzology videos that George has been putting up, with the, what did he just play along to? The Song, not the Song of Mints, the same, Celebration Day from 73, the vinyl soundtrack. He has his 2002 Black Label Sound Edge hats, his 18-inch medium, his 20-inch medium, and of course the Giant Beat. Believe it or not, we have determined through the help, not even help, I should say, thanks to Bob Mars, well, half me and us, because remember I found that picture years ago that showed Bonham'S drums 1973 at Kezar Stadium where you could clearly see a black label. Remember, original Giant Beats went black label in about 71-ish, okay, from the white label. And they made him up until about 77 here and there because Bob and some other folks, I think, said they found a Giant Beat with a stamp on it, serial number stamp that indicates all the way to 77. But Bob, God love him, discovered by analyzing The Song Remains the Same film a point where, and I think it's when Bonham, the shots from above, where Bonham's going berserker at the end of Days Confused, where you can see at the 3 o'clock position the Pisces stamp that indicates Giant Beatum. So I would bet probably on the most of the 1973 American tour, that 24 is a Giant Beat, okay? So that, I think, is what I wanted. Oh, I'm going to get Peisty Bob back down here. We're going to make a couple more videos with Bob. A 602 specific video and some other stuff. Because remember, Bob there's a reason why he's called Peisty Bob. Because he knows, I'm honored that I sold him some of the first vintage Peisties back in about 93 or 4. Since then, Bob went on a berserker buying spree. He's had so many vintage Formula 602s, Sound Creations, Giant Beats, Black Label Peisties go through his hand. He is the fountain of all things Peisty, truly. So, thank you for watching. I'll be back at you real soon. Oh, yeah, I got another thing I got another couple things. I'm going to make a video, maybe another one today. So, thanks.